eagle on my pants won't go away. I can't get it to leave. Hello, dear doodlebugs. It is Game of Vlogs where my face freaks out about the most recent episode of Game of Thrones at your face, and hopefully you get something from it. And as always, it goes without saying, this is a video full of Game of Thrones spoilers. So if you are not into that, if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you are just not a Game of Thrones fan and you just click the link out of morbid curiosity, I'll put a link on the screen to a random video that you can go watch and enjoy. You have mere moments with that. Okay, Game of Thrones, episode 6 of season 6, Blood of My Blood. It's just a fun, family-filled episode, guys. We're all still broken on the inside after the Hold the Door episode, and thanks for that recap, HBO, that just lingers on that moment. You had to really drive it in. Bran has unplugged from the tree matrix to meet a new mysterious character. Mr. Cold Hands, come to save Bran. Who could it be? Oh, we will see. This was the worst song ever. Sam and Gilly remind us that even in a fantasy world with dragons and undead ice zombies, family dinners can still suck. Tommen has become radicalized. Yay! A girl is not just a girl. A girl is actually Arya Stark, still all along this entire time. Ha ha! Ain't no cult gonna break Arya Stark. And Daenerys is just getting fired up. You thought I was gonna mention something about fists, didn't you? This episode is seriously the family reunion episode. We have Gilly meeting Sam's family. We're meeting his family for the first time. You've got Daenerys reunited with Drogon, her dragon. And of course, we get the return of some long lost characters. It's all about the Benjen Stark scene in the very beginning of this episode. Yes, that Benjen. He was there in season 1 in the very beginning, and then not season 2. Well, not season 3. I don't think we've seen him since what? Type, 2011? Hey, Joseph, Joe, yeah, you did great. You were great on set. I think this Game of Thrones show is going to be amazing. Look, we'll send you the next call sheet in 2015. You should be getting that call sheet. Yeah, so if you just put it on your calendar, I know it's like 4 years in the future. And Walder Frey is back in the game. He will never die. Edmure! Poor Edmure! We got all these old characters coming back. I mean, who else is gonna come back? Because there's a lot of people. There's Lord Beric Dondarrion, who was battling the Hound in a cave. He dies, he comes back to life. Are we gonna get a Lady Stoneheart for book readers? You've met her. She has yet to come into the series. Like Cold Hands. All right, let's start with that first scene. Bran and Meera are rescued by the mysterious Cold Hands, who turns out to be his long-lost uncle Benjen Stark, who's not dead because elf magic. So now we've got another Stark reunion. The Starks are all coming together. Is this a trend? Let's make this a trend. And it's exciting to think, what does Benjen have to bring? Because he is kind of a white. He's kind of an undead thing. What has he seen on the other side? What does he know? And what does Bran know? So we see Bran is just flying through the history of this world and learning all sorts of things. We get a glimmer of the Mad King screaming, "Burn them all!" which might lend some weight to the theory that what Bran did unto Hodor by warging into him and delivering him a message from the past to be delivered to the future. What if something like that was going on with the Mad King when he's screaming, "Burn them all"? Is that regarding the White Walkers that are coming down north of the Wall years later? I don't know, time. And how is Doctor Who gonna stop all this? Will Sansa become his next companion? Weird fan fiction coming up in my head. And I just want to take a moment to sympathize or feel bad for Meera in this whole situation. There's that moment where she's like, everyone I know and love is dead. I'm dragging this cripple around. He's in some weird flashback coma. We're gonna die cold in the snow by the undead. Why am I here? Why did I agree to go on this road trip? Probably not where she envisioned she would be when she first set out on that adventure. And then the old Sam fam, sticking to the reunion theme, the old disappointed dad, doesn't approve of your foreign girlfriend. Your brother is so much better at athletics than you are. I love seeing Sam grab the sword. It's like the kid getting into the liquor cabinet. It had a sense of that awkwardness to it, but I'm very happy that Sam seized the opportunity to define himself by defying his father. Let that be a lesson to you out there. But where are they going? Like I'm having a hard time visualizing what's going to be the next step for Sam and Gilly. Where do they go from here? Where do they go from here? Big shout out to the baby in that scene. That was amazing acting. Best baby performance on this series ever. Oh, Marjorie. Speaking of adorable couples, Marjorie and Tommen are just getting cuter and cuter. Ugh. She's just like the big sister who's quietly manipulating him into doing what she wants to do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call her a sister to her husband. That's weird. That's like Jaime Lannister territory. So Jaime Lannister and all of Marjorie's family come to stop the High Sparrow from making Marjorie do the Walk of Atonement, which, by the way, when he announces there will be no Walk of Atonement, that mob sounded really disappointed. Daddy, does that mean there won't be any titties today? Not in this episode, son. Sorry. Well, back to the forge with ya. So Jaime is gonna white knight and save Marjorie and everything's gonna be so great. But Marjorie has pulled it off. She's totally saved herself and brought Tommen into the fold of the High Sparrow, which I'm very certain that's all an act. Marjorie's just acting. She's acting. She even said it to Tommen, which is one of those tricky things where it's like, I'm going to tell you the truth to manipulate you. It's the truth, but then I'm going to say I'm recanting, but I'm not recanting. You know, I'm going to blind you with the truth. It may seem that Marjorie is playing a very dangerous game. You know, she is. She's playing a very dangerous game. Now, Cersei did make the big mistake of putting the High Sparrow into power. The only reason he's where he's at is because Cersei was leveraging him to her advantage until it turned into her disadvantage. Is that gonna happen to Marjorie? Let's talk about Arya. Poison! Murder! Thank you, thanks. And that's my audition for the Braavosi Theater. Here's a etching of my headshot and a parchment of my resume. So am I gonna get a raven from you guys, or should I send a raven? So Arya's watching a play depicting actual events of actual people that she hates so much that she would join a foreign exchange program to study at a cult of death to learn how to kill people. And she's watching the Joffrey character dying with satisfaction. But when it comes to Cersei sobbing over his body, you see Arya's move. She's empathizing with a depiction of an actual person that she has been wanting dead for so long. So when Arya saves Lady Crane rather than killing her, I don't think that's just her meeting a nice person. I mean, maybe that is a part of it. Arya realizes this is a nice person who doesn't deserve to die, and I'm sure it's a very petty reason as to why this other chick wants her dead. I think Arya's also discovering empathy through these actors. That's what a lot of what acting is empathizing. I love the pointing out of the parallels between a servant of the many-faced gods and the actors. I feel like Lady Crane has cracked something open in Arya, allowed her to be Arya again. Needle's back! The reunion theme, Needle's back! Now, I'm very curious about how things are gonna play out between Arya and that chick whose name I don't know, but she's been training Arya, being kind of a bully. Here's a weird thing. So the House of Black and White and this organization has been working on unraveling Arya as a person and just turning her into a girl, a vessel, a servant. All of her personal wants and desires and things based on the ego are supposed to be abandoned. But this chick who's been training Arya clearly does not like her, clearly desires to break her in a way that it like breaks her and gets her out of there. Okay, there's personal grudge in that woman. Is she at a level within this organization where you're able to have your own thoughts and feelings and a personality? It seems that this chick requested to be the one to go get Arya. What is that about? I feel like maybe she's being tested too. And she's failing that test because there is a lot of ego in those decisions. This episode just came after a very loaded and heavy one, so of course it's gonna be a little slower. You know, there's a lot more plotty things being laid out, setting the table, so to speak, for awesomeness to happen. Jaime's been fired from the Kingsguard, and Cersei is gonna be facing trial in the near future, perhaps. But it's all right, because she's gonna request trial by combat, which always works. And there's a lot of chatter about the Blackfish, Caitlyn's uncle. That's exciting. There's a lot of hype about him. You know, that can only end well. I mean, look what happened to Oberon. We were so excited about him. Somebody to come in and fix all our problems. Right? Walder Frey is conspiring about things. He's got Edmure in his possession. You remember Edmure, right? And Walder Frey, you know, these characters. Game of gossip. Edmure Tully? Caitlyn Stark's brother? Oh, gee. You know how he got all messed up and tangled with the Freys, don't you? That Walder Frey, he wanted to get one of his daughters married to a Stark. You know, one of them power plays that they do in Westeros. Anyway, Robb Stark was supposed to be marrying one of his girls, but he gone and fallen in love with this cute young thing. Oh, she's so pretty. I think she's Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. Anyway, Robb Stark marries her, leaves Frey hanging high and dry. Frey's insisting somebody gotta marry one of these girls, and they are not the prettiest pumpkins in the patch, let me tell you that. But Frey, he holds a grudge and he is mad. Anyway, Edmure was the one to step up. He said, you know, I'll take a free wife. And he goes and marries one of Frey's girls. Not half bad looking either. But that Frey man, he is mad. He is angrier than a bucket of bees on a hot sunny day. He goes and he kills everybody at that wedding. That red wedding. That was the red wedding I was telling you about. So, while the Frey murders all of Edmure's family, and he keeps Edmure hostage, and he's waiting for Edmure to put a baby in his little girl's belly. Hopefully it's a boy, and if it is a boy, I don't think Edmure's got long for this world. So, poor child. Anyway, I think Hot Pockets are about done. And finally, the episode once again wraps up with Daenerys being reunited with her baby Drogon. It's a big family reunion, happy episode. What's gonna happen in the next episode? This has gotten too happy. She's got practically all of the Dothraki who witnessed her emerging from the flames. They see her on a dragon. She gives a great speech. She declares everyone is her blood rider. You get to be a blood rider. You get to be a blood rider. Everyone's a blood rider. So, when is she going west? When's that happening? Is she gonna meet up with Yara and Theon's uncle? Is she gonna take that fleet of his? Is she gonna burn him and take his fleet? Because that would be amazing. And we do know that the Dothraki and the men of the Iron Islands both really appreciate and respect badasses. If you come in to the meeting and you go up to the CEO and you just cut his head off, they're like, you own the company. I don't know what your credentials are, but that was cool. I can see that working if Daenerys just, you know, murders Yara and Theon's uncle and takes his fleet. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. I want him to burn. So to wrap things up, my favorite scene of the episode is, I'm gonna say that first scene when Cold Hands comes back, and I don't know why I'm giving him that voice, but Cold Hands. If you have a name like Cold Hands, like Cold Hands gonna touch your neck on the train tonight, and you'll be like, why are you standing so close? Uncle Benjen comes back. Fun fight scene, creative. If you're on a horse, you got a flaming mace thing, you go, killed the undead, like that. And it wasn't revealed in that scene, but you just know that's Benjen Stark, that's Benjen Stark. You know why? Because it kind of looks like him and I want it to be. This coffee is just, gosh, this coffee is so caffeine-y. Poison matter. All right, I also do impressions. Most hated character of the episode. I don't know her name, but you know what? I'm gonna go with that young ingenue that was out for Lady Crane, out for her part. Okay, if you feel like your part is too small or underappreciated in this business, why don't you just go and get yourself a camera and start your own YouTube channel, all right? Take your future into your own hands. Don't wait for somebody to bring you opportunity. You make your own opportunity. Don't make your own opportunity by killing people. That's might work. And to add balance to the universe, I'm gonna add a most loved character, somebody who I adore and delight in what they're doing. And this episode, Marjorie, look at you. What are you up to? I mean, it's all set up with her family, Jaime coming in, he's gonna be the White Knight to save her. Nope, she's got it covered. It might get a little messy down the line, all right? This isn't a long-term solution, but in the short term, she got out of it. she saved herself from that whole walk of shame thing. She don't need a man to come and save her. She's Marjorie, her husband is a young teenager. And finally, the Game of Thrones death pool. So, no one died? No one died in this episode? The venison they had at dinner died. No, that was a week ago. I mean, there were some White Walkers, some stuntmen who got it, but they're not like characters, you know? A girl must have a name. So we're gonna say in the death pool, you can't just do like a splatter of like, all these extras are gonna die. Characters. Let's go by characters. And if you can't name him, at least if you can specify who in particular, and I know who you're talking about. Hey, Game of Thrones death pool is a game, and sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose. So no one died in this episode. And from here on out, I'm gonna say no one is not an option because it's the death pool. Someone's gotta die for you to win, okay? That's how this game is played. That said, our winner from last week did not respond with a drawing request, so there's no drawing this week, and therefore I will take no one as an answer this one time. Emma Sophia Channel has won the death pool, calling it that no one was gonna die in this episode. Emma Sophia Channel, if you wanna leave a comment on this video, let me know what you want to see me draw, and I will feature it in next week's video. And it can be anything you want. You want me to draw a wienercorn? I will do that. It's Game of Thrones, okay? If a wienercorn offends you, you need to find a new place to hang out. Preferably in the real world, where there are wienercorns everywhere. They're in the bushes in your hair. You don't know where to go because you might step on one's toe. Coffee is so good. Poison! So if you want to participate in the death pool, leave a comment below with the name of the character. A girl must have a name. Or a very accurate description of the character. And if that character dies in next week's episode, then I will pick one of the winners to make a request. I will draw it and feature it in a video. Those are the stakes. That's all you win. Thank you very much, dear Doodlebugs, for watching. And on Friday, I will be bringing you a fancy new video on this channel. And of course, on my main channel, Mary Doodles, art videos, as always. Until next time, you stay on the non-pointy end of the stick. Poison!